I am Kristi King, and I am a canine trainer behaviorist that helps all animals that I possibly can. Yeah, good boy.
Join me as I venture into different areas of the dog world and embark on many adventures of all kinds.
Can you sit? Her body mechanics to get her into that sit position.
Welcome back, guys. Great to see you all. Today's episode, you guys are going to learn a lot of new stuff. We're doing a lot of dog psychology. There's going to be classes of about 12 people in one. There's 4 in another class. So stay with us, and you guys are going to get to learn a lot of new fun things to do with your dogs this episode and understand why your dogs think the way they do. See how they tick. Okay, so if everyone can kind of spread out, we'd want to keep at least 7 feet distance from each other. That's not just because of the COVID stuff, it's also because right now the dogs aren't ready to be socializing too much, and some of the dogs aren't going to get along with other dogs that'll be here today. And just make sure when you get over there that those collars a little bit tighter in case they try to slip backwards out of it, okay? To check their collars and make them a little bit extra tight than what they would normally have at home, because sometimes when dogs really want to go visit other dogs, they'll actually slip backwards out of their collar. They don't normally do it, but then when they're getting really stimulated with a lot of other dogs and stuff, then they will. We actually had that happen 2 classes ago, right after we had, like literally 5 seconds after I said, check your collars, and everyone's like, yeah, we're good. I'm just gonna move it so I can put my book and I don't have to walk back and forth. You don't need to film this. Put your back into it. So there's a list of things to desensitize your dogs to every week. And I ask you to pick 2 from that every week to work on desensitizing your dogs to. Heel. Yes. And then I say yes. Some people use a clicker. You guys have seen people use clickers, right, for dog training? I use the word yes. Just takes away another piece of training equipment, right? When you correct him, try to be loose and give like a pop, right? But leave that distance between your hand and the collar, because then he'll be less likely to, yeah. I just want you to be safe, so that's why. Krista. So I'm gonna do a diagonal. So that's really good. Treat him just for looking and not reacting. So that's one thing. You wanna reward the dogs if you can before they. So hey. Attention. Hi. So next time he looks and he doesn't react, that's when you're gonna treat. To have a well-trained dog, it takes, a smart dog, but it also takes discipline on our parts, right? So if you embark on wanting this well-behaved dog, then you have to commit some time. So generally I say you're gonna train your dogs 3 times a day for about 6 to 10 minutes, depending on your dog. And you'll know what your dog's threshold is the more you kind of spend time with them, if they can have that attention in 6 minutes or if they can hold it up to 10, because the ages. The trick also is to end your training when the dog still wants to train. When they're still interested in that food, or they're still interested in that ball, or they're still really interested in you, you stop, because then the next time you go into training, they're gonna be more excited to train. Whereas if you keep training until they're like, I don't really care anymore, then the next time they come into it, they're like, meh, they're just not as apt to want to train. Make eye contact, focus, yes. And every time that they go from looking at my nose and the treat and they make their eye contact a little bit up higher, that's when I'm gonna say focus, and good focus, and feed. The reason that we train that is because, especially if they're getting barky at another dog, and once they've learned the command focus, you say focus and they'll stop and they'll look at you, and then you can either say leave it or down or sit or whatever, but it's a really good cue to use just to break their attention on something else, right? What I'm doing here with her right now is I've been teaching her to maintain that eye contact. I'm not necessarily staring at my hand wherever I have the food, right? So her reward comes from paying attention to me. So it doesn't matter that she'd probably rather be looking at all your dogs. She's like, mom's a little more exciting right now. Yes, Good. When we're training that position to be beside us, we're gonna let them use their noses. We're gonna plant our right foot. Here. Yes. Then we're gonna bring our left one back around. She's still scared. Come here. I'm not that scary, I promise. It's this one. So we're gonna try that again. Right foot is glued to the ground. The reason I use hot dogs is because they can nibble little pieces of them off, right? Only thing is when you use hot dogs, you gotta give them more water because there's a lot of salt in hot dogs, right? So again, go back. Good girl. When you're training a dog, the best way to do it is by working with the drives that they're already programmed to have. So they're programmed to work for food, for water, for play, and for praise. So the biggest mistake that we make when we get new dogs is we want to spoil them because we love them. So we give them a dog bed and we give them a basket of dog toys because we think, well, they need something to chew on. And we give them access to water all the time and access to food all the time. And inadvertently, we accidentally train our dogs that we are not important. Then go back, take a step back and take him to a cue that he knows and then reward and then go back to the new thing that you're training them. Yeah. All right.
So, Christy, tell me about the first class, your beginner, or I think it was a beginner's class?
Yeah, that's my beginner's class we did yesterday.
Tell me a little bit about the class and some of the pups that are there.
So that class is our basic starter or opener to any of the other classes that I teach. So to participate in any of the other ones, you have to graduate the exam from that one. And I basically teach people not just obedience cues, but like the psychology behind why our dogs do what they do, the history behind domestication of dogs, all that kind of stuff, right? Because I find if I teach the psych and all that, then people understand better, they learn more, and that knowledge helps them to learn how to train their dogs rather than just, you know, showing lures and teaching sit or down.
Hello. I almost forgot you were coming today. Hi, buddy. Oh, Max, are you scared of the rain? Okay, well, we'll see how much our dogs will do today. Okay, so we'll do our introductions because you guys don't know each other, and what your training history is, and what we're going to work on now. This sucks really bad. Dedicated. We are dedicated to training our dogs. Oh my God. Down. Now I make you lie down. And that's why he got up, because I was throwing the treats for him before. Here. Heel. Yes. This way. Down. Yes. Here. Heel. This way. Down. Yes. Here. Wait. This way. Yes. This way. Ah. Yes. Duke, this way. Duke, this way. All the way. Duke. Yes. Down. Heel. So what you guys are going to do when we're using your dogs, as soon as they get here, you're gonna act like a treat dispenser without making eye contact or interacting with the dog. So when one of you sends your dog this way, you're gonna go try and get the dog's attention in the beginning. If they're not coming, you can, get down, don't call the dog, but make some noise. And then when they get to the thing, you're gonna feed them, but you're not gonna talk to them or tell them good dog, because we're teaching the dog to listen to their handler that's in the middle, not the person, the dispenser.
Your pup seems really well behaved and is very attentive. What kind of things has the course helped you with?
Oh, the course has helped me with a lot of stuff. So I actually originally came to Christy because my dog started chasing cats all of a sudden, and we wanted to get another kitten because we moved out onto a farm. And so after just started doing some basic obedience and stuff with her, I kind of realized, like, you think you know it all when you're training your own dog, and you kind of realize how much you miss out on and how much more you can do. And me and Anna have always had a really good bond. Like, she sleeps in our bed with us under the covers. So even being able to do this kind of obedience work builds that bond, and you get to spend more time with them, and yeah.
So what's one of the things you're excited to work with Anna on within the course?
Definitely her off-leash obedience. She loves to play with other dogs, and she doesn't always listen when you try to recall her. So even just doing that basic work today, I was actually really impressed with how well she was doing, because before that she would, if there was another dog in there, she would just be gone. She would not come back, she would not listen. So I was actually really impressed with how well she did today.
That was the off-leash with the table?
Yeah, the off-leash with the tables.
Tell me a little bit about the off-leash with the tables. What exactly is that?
So we're basically just teaching our dogs to go the directions we want them to go, so we can redirect them if there's another dog coming their way and we've got them off leash, or and the cat comes walking through the yard that we need to direct their attention.
So in the beginning, you're gonna kind of almost help her with the collar this way. So you guys notice that I'm not giving the dog any eye contact. Now that we got her the first time, I helped her a little bit extra, but this time, I literally just want to be a treat dispenser for her, that's it. Send her to me one more time. Try sending her to Jason. Jason, you're gonna have to be very unthreatening, probably get down like I am, and don't look her in the face. Drop it on the ground for her. Send her again. Be like, yes. Yeah, she likes them. So yours is the same thing, Amanda? I need you to put your mean girl voice on. Anna, sit.
I think the thing that I admire most about Christy is that it doesn't matter what the problem is, she can help that dog to make progress.
Learning how to control him from a distance a little bit better when he's distracted or there's something he likes somewhere else. I recently came to a class and I learned how to introduce him to other dogs, and there's always more things to learn.
Oh, the course has helped me with a lot of stuff. So I actually originally came to Christy because my dog started chasing cats all of a sudden.
I asked her if she would help me get him a little bit less frightened, a little bit more confidence, and so we've been doing that. He's become a lot more confident.
Hi guys, hope you're enjoying today's episode of Canine Kris. I wanted to take a second to invite you to our new website, caninekris.com, where you can purchase our specialty training equipment, clothing, and more. You can also book virtual and live training with me. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook too. I look forward to connecting with you.
He was found roaming somewhere, and they had never done any training with him. He didn't even know what a leash was. He was really afraid of pretty much everything. So I work with Christy and know she's really good with animals, so I asked her if she would help me get him a little bit less frightened, a little bit more confidence, and so we've been doing that.
Nice. What kind of improvements have you seen so far?
He's become a lot more confident in his abilities. He knows how to communicate with me now, and the rest of our family as well. He's got the basic commands under his belt, and he's doing pretty good with that.
What things are you excited to learn in the near future with Christy?
I like the recall. That's one thing that we saw here today he wasn't very good at, and so that's what I hope to get him a little bit better with. He does like to wander and sniff everything, and sometimes doesn't want to come back so much. So that's one of the things I really want to work on with him now.
What kind of things have you really enjoyed about taking the classes with Christy there?
I like that she gives us good lessons to go home with and good little tips. One of the tips she gave me was that sometimes I'm a little bit too easy on him because I feel bad for his past, but in doing that I'm reinforcing some of his bad behaviors, and so she's given me some ways to try to work on that and not help him with those bad behaviors, but try to curb them.
Don't let him get by the dog. If you can grab his collar. Okay, quicker. So what he just did was really bad behavior, right?
Right.
And he knows that you're not going to hurt him. He knows, so he was choosing not to listen. By saying, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, you're agreeing with the behavior, right? So it will make it happen more because it's almost like a reward. Oh, I don't have to listen and I still get love from my daddy, right? So next time it's a Max no, or Max sit. Yeah, so one thing you got to remember too is like, okay, so you want to, because a lot of times we do that after they did something bad, right? So if he jumps up and then you ask him to sit and then you reward him, then you're still rewarding him for jumping up. So if he jumps up on you, you say off or whatever your command is, and that's the end of it. No sits, no nothing, off, and ignore. And then like 10 minutes later, you can be like, Quinn, sit, and then give him a treat, right? Because we don't want to teach them that bad behavior equals asking of a cue equals treat.
Yes, good boy.
Treat. All right, pull him back. Just say it once and then bring him to you.
Yes, good boy. Yeah, good job.
He's a good boy. Call him back. It's okay. He'll get it.
Good job. You did it. You did it.
I like to say he's stubborn, but I love him despite it.
What kind of things have you've been learning in the class here so far?
Just learning how to control him from a distance a little bit better when he's distracted or there's something he likes somewhere else. And just how to help control him when he's barking.
This way and just point. Call him back. Treat. Treat. So send him to Jason. So now I want you to ask him to down when he gets to the table. Off. No. Heel. I will play tug with you when you do what you're supposed to do. Wait. Go. Down. Bring. Yeah. Good job. Yeah. Yeah. Good boy. Yeah. Good job. See how much he loves it? Yay! You did it! Max, down. Yes. Good boy. Such a snob. I love your dog, but he's such a snob. You're gonna ask him to sit. You're gonna walk about 10 feet away from him. Then you're gonna ask him to down. Good. back to him. Tell him what a good boy is. Sit. Good. Max, down. Good. Max, good. Good. Yes. A big part of why I don't use one training program, because no one training program works for every single dog. It just doesn't. So you have to problem solve, because there's 18 million ways to train a dog to do the same thing. You just have to find out which way works for the dogs. Good. Yes, go get it. Good girl. Anna, sit. Yep. Lie down. You're such a princess. I know it's wet. Come here. She likes these treats, eh? Yeah. Okay, you try. Yes, throw a treat. End goal is people want to, have their dogs off leash and still behave. They don't want to have to be on the leash all the time, right? So that's basically intermediate is the introduction to off leash obedience, and then so when they finish that, so like you see, we were working on our distance downs and problem solving for some of the dogs. In each one of them, we train differently for off leash, right? Because I don't find that one way works for every dog. As you've seen yesterday, the one dog was no problem, and then the other one, we had to kind of, throw the food, good, now down, all different kind of ways you figure it out. It's like a puzzle, whatever you figured. But, and then the next class, the advanced, is all off leash. So that's where we expect a little more out of our dogs, and we start adding quads running around and kids on bikes and loose dogs running up to your dog when it's a down stay and all that kind of stuff, right? So by the end, if you've taken all 3 courses, then your dog should be pretty fantastic in any situation. Done training today, let's go eat.